Anthony Rushton is the CEO of Telemetry, a British company that specializes in detecting this kind of online fraud, and he joins me now from London. You know, this was staggering to me when I looked at some of the stats, and I thought this really does compromise the integrity of that digital ad revenue, meaning trying to prove that it's having any kind of an effect on possible consumers.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Telemetry works within the online video advertising spectrum, which is the fastest growing area of the advertising ecosystem. And what we're seeing now is a move away from bot fraud, which your piece previously explained, where you have, if I may use a prop, if you have a computer, in essence this is a computer, and the fraudsters will set up a series of fake computers to simulate the idea that a sapient being is using it and watching the ads. We've started to see a worrying trend move away from bot fraud to a more articulate type of fraud, which involves genuine audience, genuine traffic, yet the fraudsters are changing or morphing very low quality toxic waste impressions and converting them through a series of highly articulate code and handshakes into premium inventory, which they are then retailing through the open exchanges, and some of the biggest advertisers in the world are purchasing those fraudulent impressions at a perceived premium, which is more worrying than the display market, which the bot fraud you mentioned earlier was for display advertising. What we're talking about here, Paula, is online video advertising. It is the transition from TV advertising, which is a $70 billion market in the US alone, into a online video advertising market. And as more devices get connected to the internet, there are more opportunities for fraudsters to retail more articulate fraud than bot.
Yeah, and as you say, more articulate fraud, because at this point in time, as you said, it's premium. Advertisers pay a lot when someone actually clicks on that video. What can be done, though? As you say, this is becoming more sophisticated.
We would argue that it is the responsibility of the vendors, the publishers, the networks that trade the impressions to the advertiser, to the buyer. It is fundamentally their responsibility to ensure that the impressions that they are trading to the buy side, to the advertisers, is cleansed, is genuine. Now, most of these open exchanges, some of which are floated on NASDAQ, Paula, openly claim to have solved the fraud problem, openly state to investors that there is no problem on their exchange. We would argue that is very different. Now, typically, the approach to detecting fraud involves an advertising agency using a predictable verification system to identify bot fraud. The fraudsters are onto this. They are more articulate. We would argue it is the responsibility of the sell side in the equation now to invest effectively in experts that can help them to cleanse the inventory that they are retailing under their name and their brand onto the buy side.
Yeah, quite a new dimension to internet security there, and I'm sure a lot of research going into how to stop these programs. Thanks so much for your insights on this. Appreciate it.